Hey there, I'm Drew,
And I'm Caleb,
and this.
is Post Apologist.
Hey, so we're gonna talk about just kind of skim over like one episode. The first one we're gonna cover for today, season 9, episode 12, called Guardians, wasn't it?
Uh, yeah, it was definitely Guardians.
And we're gonna mix up a little this time. Caleb's gonna head over the outline for Guardians, and I'm gonna cover episode 13. We'll just lay the conversation. So episode 12 happened last week. Unfortunately, we lost our last podcast over episode 11 due to some technical difficulties. But episode 13 happened last week. What did you think of it, Caleb?
Honestly, I think it was a step up considering last week's episode. Choke Point, it was called.
Yeah. But what did you think of episode 12, which was Guardians?
Guardians.
Last week episode.
I felt like it was a little. Yeah, I felt like I said. I felt like it was really slow paced.
Yeah.
Like just really not. I guess character development in a sense. We got to see Daryl and his deaf sidekick. I keep forgetting her name. Connie. Daryl and Connie. That could be a sitcom name. Daryl and Connie. Standing back to back like every other sitcom.
Exactly. So that one basically covered. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I remember, of course, it kind of covered focus on back on Alexander, which we haven't seen in a few episodes. Michonne's basically giving the loadout to Gabriel and all the other red shirts that weren't there to witness all the whisperers. Sadiq really wants to help out, like the Hilltop and Kingdom, and because they keep saying the Kingdom is almost like kind of on the edge of failing and stuff. And they're like, of course, like Ezekiel's always like so happy and chipper, so you wouldn't guess. But yeah, they are pretty. They seem pretty desperate for food, even though they all seem pretty healthy and stuff.
What do you think of Michonne's decision to keep the communities divided?
But the thing is, like, she's not exactly making that decision. She's just saying that we need to watch out for our own. And like, I kind of hate this line, but Sadiq was like, he's like, what's the value if the Alexandria lives but the hilltop falls? I'm like,
that was way overdone.
Yeah, and she said like it doesn't matter because Hilltop will survive.
I'm sorry, but aren't your friends who you survived with? Aren't they over there though? Like
Sadiq's or Michonne's.
Michonne's.
Yeah, it's really hard because after season 6 and stuff, like everyone's split up in different communities. Like started kind of Carol going over to Kingdom, like permanently. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a decision that she's thought about because we still don't know what happened with the whole flashback between the 6-year period after Rick disappeared. Blah blah blah. I would keep saying that every week. They just keep not telling us what happened. But it seems like that event has just sparked them a show. Like, hey, if we all keep separate, nothing really bad can go wrong.
Except when we all die alone.
Exactly, and it's the whole thing of like, is it better to help others when like it exposes yourself, but at the same time, like you might need help in the future, so that way you kind of create, a lasting relationship between these communities. Because that's the whole point, is to be connected. So in case when in the show, when shit hits the fan, that they will have protection on all sides and whatnot.
But at the same time, and I feel like Michonne's decision to keep them divided is somewhat okay, but in a warped really sense, because they're trying to keep them divided because I feel like they're trying to spread the communities together, right? So kind of expand everything. They can't
kind of intertwine them. I don't think they're planning on expanding, but they just want like Ezekiel at least wants them to all be connected in charter.
Exactly, right? But they don't have enough space for everyone, so they have to keep them divided. But at the same time, by like trying to very limit the interactions, I feel like it's going to cause it could be a potential for civil war.
I think no one. I don't think there's no more like savior jerks who are constantly like being 80s movies, like kicking someone when they're down or whatever. So luckily, I doubt there's gonna be a war starting between these communities unless people just get really desperate. But there is definitely a situation that could. I love how Gabriel even says like we can't even make decisions anymore as a council because we gave you the right to veto, Michonne, but you've been vetoing everything we do because everything else is a security concern. I love that line because after this time jumps and stuff, we need to establish how the council works because the council has like Tattoo Neck Lady, has Sadiq, has Gabriel, and then has Michonne as a security council. But since security is so important in this world, she can just trump everything. Which is how a tyrant begins. Like when it came to Julius Caesar, like in Rome, because like he had like in Rome, the rules were if we're under dire circumstances, we put one person in charge. Well, it's kind of the same thing here, but if Michonne has everything in charge, then she just becomes a tyrant. It's no longer a democracy at that point.
Wait, so what would it be like
Oh
Michonne
yeah,
Public? Damn, I got nothing for it.
there's been the Glinsurrection, there's been the Rictatorship, there's been the Maggie ship, there's been the what
Negan.
Negamocracy.
Yeah.
There's been now it's the Machirney.
Oh my
Nailed
god.
it, just coined it. But sweet, yeah. So we kind of focus, and of course, each kind of episode has kind of themes where they kind of compare two groups of people. Like like I think maybe episode 10 they kind of compared Lydia's history of abuse with like Daryl's history of abuse, and like this episode in episode 11, for example, like they're kind of comparing Michonne's leading tactics to Alpha's more decapitation leading tactics vibes.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the main thing going on in Alexandria, and like kind of people having debates and Eugene's weird interactions of every human being that exists in that location. And then it cuts over to no, it's kind of out of order, or whatever. But how about you go? How about you lead this? What happens next, Caleb?
Honestly, I think I would just leave that to the writers. I mean, I don't even know what to go for
No,
it.
I meant next plot thing. What happens after the meeting in Alexandria?
Alexandria. I got no comments.
I'm saying the plot. We need to go beat by beat of this episode. So the next thing that happens after Alexandria's scene is. Okay, I'll just do it. Like I think it cuts to Alpha and like a couple of whisperers walking back to their main camp. She's being all weird, Forrest Gumpy, creepy, like, "You better not say my mama always said that was stupid," or whatever when she's talking to Lydia. Where she's being like creep, but like she tries to defend it, saying like, "Oh, I wouldn't leave you to be killed by those people. I need you for information," or whatever she said. Because even to her people, she tries to justify getting Lydia back as like as kind of like political / tactical move, even though Lydia said that we never go back for people who get left behind.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought you were talking about for future events.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no.
So what's gonna happen in the rest of the show, the next 7 seasons?
Okay, yeah, no. So, yeah, like you said, they go back to their camp. Alpha is pretty much trying to. I guess she's trying to further the distance even more. It's like, I didn't get you because I love you. I did it because you're useless to me, but I still need you at times.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like.
And I find it weird. So. Remember how I mentioned that at one point they were nomadic? Like, they kind of move from place to place? Okay, so this camp that they had, was that just where they were just settling for now and then they're just going to continue moving on? Or does that...
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I thought when I saw that. And we got to see them actually make masks out of walker skin.
So gross.
That,
like,
what...
You got to see, like, Beta, like, using a knife, like, shivving it underneath, like the zombies.
Can you call those things knives? I mean, for God's sakes, those things... What's the word I'm looking for?
Like mini machetes or like
kukris. That's what you ever seen? They're like curved.
Kukris are like. Was using a kukri to carve? No, like using kukri would be so hard to carve something up. I know what you're talking about though. Kukris are awesome. They're like because like Nepalan soldiers like they'll throw the kukris. It's like basically it's like a foot and a half long, maybe 2 feet long, like 2 foot long knife. It's like curved. It's like really good for like cutting through flesh and bone and stuff.
Yeah, it would almost look like a curved backward 7, maybe. I'm just thinking like if you flip the 7.
Very lumpy 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, Henry falls behind him, just hiding behind a hill, being like, "Oh, I hope these whisperers who are quiet don't see me." And a whisperer comes up to him. He's like, "Be quiet," or whatever the person from me in the movie theater says to me always.
How are you gonna sneak up on a bunch of people who call themselves the Whisperers? You can't unless you're called the Silencers.
So Henry pretty well dispatches them Donatello style, good like even though like the action isn't like it's not into the Badlands level, the Matrix level action. Like there's a pretty good choreograph, like and believable. Like if you take like a solid wooden stick to the kneecap and then to the head, you're gonna go down.
Yeah.
Which and he moves pretty consistently too. Like I wonder if he got trained by the ninja guy who trained, of course, Morpheus. I don't think Morgan. Just like Morgan was trained by that Ninja Turtle guy. Remember? Did you ever know that? Like in production, like they got the guy who was like a Ninja Turtle in like the '80s to be like the choreographer for Morgan and Henry now.
Really, I never knew that.
Apparently so.
But when I was watching that scene with my dad, I felt like we were kind of just berating Henry because he managed to take out like an unnamed, basically extra. But when Beta came.
Man.
He pretty much made him a delta. Wait, what's lower than a beta?
There's alpha, and then there's a beta, and that's it. I think.
Well, no, there's alpha, beta, delta, or like what's the
Yeah.
lowest at the Greek? I'm trying to think.
Probably some like
Zeta.
Theta, some from Kratos.
Yeah, whatever is like the last, like the Z,
We're
or
around a lot
like
of college campuses, so let's think. What's it like? What's the lamest sounding fraternity? Theta Sigma. There's Theta Sigma, Delta, Magna. That's the character in the show. Never mind. You'll look it up. But yeah, probably the biggest man in the show. I mean, either this guy's wearing stilts or he must be in real life. Like he's like wide. He's not Chewbacca, like Chewbacca actor thin. Like he's wide.
he looks like someone who would be in a biker gang.
Yeah, but like if his bike was also like two bikes, he had to sit on because he's too big to ride on one bike. Like he's 7 feet tall easily. Like
Yeah.
this guy's like it's cool because like his mask kind of like cuts off at his beard. But he has like this dark black trench coat. Yeah, he's awesome. Like he just looks intimidating. You know, like if I saw him like in an elevator that opened up, I'd be like, I'll take the next one, pal. You go ahead.
Like, no, I think I'll do the stairs.
Yeah. Is there any window nearby I could take? Because I'm not going to take a step in that elevator with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Beta grabs him like he's a ragdoll.
But you know, I felt like that was just really. I wouldn't know if that was so much. I feel like Henry could have put up more of a struggle. I mean, for God's sake. So how old is he now? What? 18.
Like 18, like almost our age. But
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, after you would imagine training for so long and stick fighting, and you know, overall just combat and being in the apocalypse for so long, you would at least not be able to like, oh, I'm just gonna pick you up by the collar of your sleeve.
I mean, he's a big guy. He also snuck up behind him, so I believe it because even like I get when like you're taking out zombies with like a stick, or maybe like some people like my size, you know. But if you see like a Hulk come up behind, you see someone's shadow go like above you as you turn around, then like I'm gonna be at least because he had to jump on him, so I buy it.
I mean, look, that doesn't mean there's no ways to take out a bear. All you need, like, one to the throat, maybe to the eye. One to the throat, to the eye, maybe one to the nuts.
Yeah, but the guy's a tank, so.
And you can still. Hey, what? Didn't Daryl take down a tank during the prison fight?
Yeah. Well, I really doubt Beta's gonna offer to open his mouth up wide for Daryl to stick a grenade in there and for him to run away and explode. I know that could have gone a lot worse.
Although that would be awesome.
But yeah, we're looking at the episode guide on the TV in this reserve room in the library. So yeah, they take him to the main, the current Whisperer camp. It looks like they just, they had like some skins splayed out and like there's all kind of sleep on the floor. In the comics, they do move place. In the comics, they have some cows though, and they have like they do have some horses and stuff, which I thought was interesting because it makes sense because like even though like they don't even have cups, they like only use like weird tarps like to hold water and stuff like that.
I mean, you can only get as far as walking, like among the herds.
Dude, what do you mean, like?
No, like think about it. If they walk from place to place, like with the herds, like you would imagine they're gonna.
Like,
No, I'm talking about the people, like the Whisperers.
Yeah.
Like you would think they're gonna get tired after so long.
Yeah, so they made camp. We see him like we said, skinning a zombie, which is so gross. Because like it looks realistic. They always do so well for zombie stuff in the show. And they have like a cute little hut made out of twigs for Alpha, which I guess they've gotten really good at making. Because I guess like if they must make a new cute little hut like every time they go to a new place, or else they carry like an RV. Or I mean,
Oh no, they got like 4 guys who have to kind of like lift it up and just walk with them, like hup,
yeah.
hup.
So it's a zombie herd, and there's like a weird dome on the top of that herd. People are holding it like they're like letting guys.
I imagine that would make any sniper's day. He just sees it like, okay, I've officially seen it all. Like Walker's carrying that.
Yeah, like Walker's carrying like a tent, like in the mid, like as a board, like you know what I mean? Because like I wasn't expecting them to have like RVs. She's like, yeah, we keep on the move. Yeah, we have this great luxury RV, but
Oh no! Imagine if they just lifted up Alpha and just held her like as they were walking. She sort of like a queen,
like a king, like
and then the people would see her like, what the hell is going on?
Like she sits on like Beta's shoulders or something.
Oh god, I can actually see that. That's scary.
But yeah, so basically what happens in this kind of whole episode at the Whisperer camp, two idiots come up and are like, well, I reckon that you aren't worth leading. Like the guy and the girl, and the guy starts talking like, I don't reckon you're worth leading if you go back for this daughter who's conveniently your daughter, but you want to go back for anyone else who wasn't your daughter. And she's like, oh, I see what's going on here. So she like turns to the woman and is like, oh, you've been doubting me. Like she's been feeding him his head full of lies or whatever. Helen, apparently. She, Theater of the Mind, Caleb turned to the Walking Dead wiki where we can get the names of the people who died, but it doesn't matter because they're dead. So yeah, the guy, like, I always have trouble with this because unless like the leader does something really, really, really dumb. Like if you've seen a leader do this kind of stuff before, you're not gonna question them like this because what happens next? Alpha, Alpha is like, I'm gonna talk real slowly and get behind you. Don't ignore this yo-yo I have around my hand. Not gonna put it around your throat. Just kidding. And she starts to strangle her and like,
Oh
okay,
no, 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 that wasn't strangulation.
yeah. I
That
think
was
you said
decapitation.
what did you say that the cord was again? It was like a Garrett
Uh, Garrote, Garrett.
parrot.
It's a it was a
It's
very
it,
popular tool among assassinations. It's basically like a thin
yeah.
wire,
Well,
like
you can't grab it obviously. They're supposed to like.
well, no, because normally it's normally piano wire
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
attached to two wooden
Like
kind of
sticks that kind of hold
yeah
on
to
to it.
grip
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
not pleasant.
yeah. Because imagine trying to put that shit around your wrist.
Exactly.
Like it's gonna cut into you.
Yeah, and it wasn't pleasant because I'm like, oh, she's gonna choke her out. But then when you realize it's Gare, I'm like, yeah, at least gonna take her throat out. Cause I've seen like other shows do this. But then she takes off her entire head.
I don't know if that was the material, because even then, like I don't know, it can get into you, but not enough to like go through bone. That had to be like yeah, that had to be like,
she must sharpen this with her teeth or something. Like that's
or either that or Alpha's got to be inhumanly strong,
yeah.
which I find is doubtful.
Yeah, but she rips that lady's head off and just plops on the forest floor, and she grabs it. It looks a lot like the person's head. Like they've done Herschel's head, like a pretty good exact model, But that looked exactly like the lady's head. So I hope this lady didn't get decapitated.
She's just a head.
Yeah, she's just a head. Yeah, so she holds it up, God of War style to everyone. She's like, "Look at me, what's up?" And then she just like, it's kind of weird because she like decapitates this woman like in a spectacular fashion. She just stabs the guy. She's like, I've kind of run out of creativity for this.
No, it was when her boyfriend Sean, after witnessing her death, he sniffles. I don't know if he's a mix of sad, a little angry. Alpha sees this and like, I ain't got no room for the weak, and then stabs him.
Oh, because he sniffles?
Because he's sniffling.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
It's like crying is weakness. Crying makes you human.
Yeah, but then she goes into her tent with Beta and have some pillow talk. I'm just kidding. They just
Gross.
She takes off her mask and she's like, I haven't had to do this in a while. I hope I don't have to do it again. Kind of the whole Negan defense of like, I don't want to burn anyone's face off, but I love to. I won't do it again as long as nothing bad happens.
But I oh so want to.
Yeah, exactly. So then Daryl and Connie find the trail. The just dog,
Cat dog.
His Daryl's dog, who's just named Dog. They shoot Connie and Daryl. Connie's still just writing stuff on pieces of paper. But Daryl shoots a crossbow not a whole crossbow, a bolt into a zombie, and then Dog fetches it for him, but then snaps it in half by accident. That was really cute and funny.
Bad dog.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool though, because if a dog can retrieve your ammo for you, that's pretty useful.
No, yeah, that's actually really smart, Daryl. Like imagine that how much training that would have had to been to like.
Or just practice with the bolt without shooting it and say fetch.
But now he's got to learn to like pick it, like get off, clean it clean off without snapping it.
Yeah, he has to like put his head like horizontally, then like pull it.
Just kind of lift it up, like here you go.
Like next time Daryl gets injured, like he's like trained a dog to like sew into him to like sew him up and stuff. Like he trained him like.
But even then, even if it wasn't, I'm thinking like even without the arrowhead, like wouldn't an arrow still be deadly if it's like a jagged piece of wood?
Also, if we're going the apocalypse route, which was retconned in season 8 or something, if the dog eats like some of the gross zombie matter on his bone, might get sick. But hopefully it doesn't happen because dogs are the best. But yeah, if I had a dog, I would like strap like a cute little fanny pack to it. That way, you could like bring me ammo and stuff, or like strap a grenade where like fetch, throw the grenade, and then the dog will. Oh, maybe the dog will drop a grenade, then run back to you, something cute like that. Because they're really useful. Because they can run really fast. But Connie and Daryl catch up with their trail. Eventually find them. Daryl and Connie find like the body they take. They're gonna feed to walkers for the people that Alpha just killed. Basically, what's her name? Lydia tries to say like, I'm still on your side. I have this weird necklace that came out of nowhere that says, did it have an H on it? Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Okay, gotcha. Because she's like, I'm bending over. Don't look at the good stuff. Just a necklace.
Oh god.
Like, well, he's a young man. What are you gonna do? But yeah, so she sees a necklace. So I guess we're supposed to kind of get the idea that she's on his side still. And did he leave a yo-yo out there for her? Like underneath the leaves where there's no way she could have seen it.
I didn't notice that though.
She found a yo-yo, but then I read a recap where it's like, Henry greatly placed a yo-yo right where she would sit down in the middle of a forest. So I'm like, he's the ultimate spy.
Oh yeah, remember, Plot
convenience, yeah.
convenience.
But basically, Alpha gives the option of listen, you can stab Henry in the gut, kill him, or you can die yourself, something like, or
No, no. It was either kill Henry or Beta kills you both.
yeah, or like become one of us, or whatever. So yeah, Henry's an idiot. He's like, I didn't come in my group, whatever. And then Alpha's like, I don't care.
I mean, would you rather be killed by a pretty girl or a man who could probably twist your head off like a bottle cap?
That's a very good point. I mean, Beta has been trained up in fatalities, I'm sure, after 10 years in the apocalypse. So I'm not gonna go down that.
I'm pretty sure even before the apocalypse, he looked like someone you don't want to be in a cell with.
Like used 2 beer cans to like squash someone's head in, like Ewok style, like episode 6, just like an ATT Ewok or just toom. But yeah, before Lydia's her mom's like, don't you remember your dad was weak? And she's like, I don't know what happened. Well, she's like, I know what happened to my dad. And then a bunch of they're like, oh crap, walkers come out of nowhere. And then a bunch of walkers show up. They call them guardians, which is why this episode is called Guardians. Which is really cool because like it's weird. Like they don't treat the walkers as sheep. They kind of treat them as like equals, kind of.
So they only attacked the people who didn't have the masks on.
Yeah.
No, but I just want. I think it probably has something to do with what the. Because I'm thinking, can they?
Differentiation of walker from zombie, like who they eat, I think I have a theory that like because their faces are covered in like so dark and gross looking, but they also smell so bad. All the whisperers, I guess.
But can walkers smell though?
They're corpses. This is plot convenience, whatever zombie stuff.
Okay, but yeah, even then, let's say they could smell though. Wouldn't the stench from the mask still emanate on the face? Because they clearly do not bathe ever.
I think too, like if I saw a white person as a zombie, I'm like that person looks pretty pale. He's probably still alive. I'm gonna eat him, as opposed to like just like a person wearing a whisperer mask. You know what I mean? Because because this is dumb zombie lore. Like, well, zombies can't. If zombies can smell blood like sharks, they're corpses. Who cares? But it's definitely a good question because like there's like weird consistencies where like, oh, zombie will eat this guy, but he won't eat this guy.
They can definitely hear. I guess they do have very limited sight, but they can't see clearly. I guess.
Yeah, apparently.
They can make out shapes maybe?
They can hear? I don't know, man.
But I guess when the guys say like it's walkers, like oh, there's one.
Yeah, like the guy who yells "Guardians!" and it gets killed.
Yeah, I know. Now it makes sense why they call themselves the Whisperers. Like, hey, if you make any loud noises, they will be on you.
Gotcha. Well, Daryl shows up wearing a Whisperer mask, and I love how Henry doesn't even ask, like, "Daryl, is that you?" Because you can tell from his Batman. He's like, "Get out of here!" And he's like, and he doesn't even say Daryl. He's just like, "Not without her," because I love it, like how he's just like, no one can unrecognize that voice. And he even got like a Whisperer head that was almost like was it 1-to-1 body double of his hair where it's just like droops right in his face. You can just barely see his mouth moving. But so is Connie's wearing a mask as well. They grab Lydia and they run out into the night.
I mean, hey, that's probably take advantage of the chaos in the situation.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how like Alpha's like, well, better walk away from my only daughter who's not wearing a walker mask, and like just kind of abandon Lydia to get murdered.
I mean,
they're like right next to each other. Then like Lydia just stayed put, and she wasn't like, "Oh, Lydia, come with me." That's kind of weird. But yeah, I loved it when were you surprised when Daryl was wearing a mask or anything? Because I was like, and then she was like, come with me.
I was, but at the same time, you're like, hey, you got to do what you got to do, and that was actually pretty smart.
It's one of my favorite scenes in the comics too, which I'll talk about. We're gonna have a comic section from now on where we'll have like a little outro. We'll talk about like comparisons and whatnot because there's spoilers there, and I won't talk about what might happen in the next this finale because there's a big thing that happens which I'm really worried about happening if they're gonna do this show. But yeah, so back at he'll finish the little escapade at Alexandria. Eugene pulls off the only thing he's good at, which is being awkward about relationships and stuff. He goes to Gabriel. I guess Gabriel was told off screen that Rosita's pregnant because of course there is a quad love triangle going on here, quadrangle, where it's Sadiq, Gabriel, and then Eugene, and then Rosita's the only person in the middle. But yeah, that was very, 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 very funny because Eugene's always just such a socially awkward penguin. He's like, I've mapped out a maximum plan of happiness that will follow you, and long term looks like I worked it out. So like, it's kind of weird for him to meddle in someone else's business, but then he also just admits to loving Rosita and stuff. And Gabriel's like, thanks, man. But overall, luckily, it just works out. Gabriel says, but I'm not the father. And then insert me saying from every TV show, you are not the father.
Get out of my head. I was just about to quote Maury.
Yeah,
Gabriel, you are not the
My
father.
friend in high school would always do that, and I had no idea what the hell he was talking about.
You've never watched Maury.
Like, he'd just show me it from, like, what, like, he would just be like, someone would be like, hey, the teacher's not here, I guess we can leave class, and he'd be like, you are not, like, he would just say it out of context. But yeah, so he said, so luckily they have a weird reunion where they're all in front of Rosita's house, and Sadiq is there, and Rosita's there, and he walks up, he's like, hey, what's up? My kid stepped off, pal. But yeah, that's gonna be weird. Like, I have two dads and one mom, the ultimate zombie apocalypse safety net, where if one dad dies, I always have another. It's gonna be a weird way to grow up. And with weird Uncle Eugene after your mom the whole time. But he gives also Gabriel like Zumba pants for Rosita. Anything weird about the scene we'll talk about, like in the future stuff? You think one of them might be expendable, or do you think this is all going to work out? Or do you think, because like we haven't seen a baby birth in a long time, so you think by season 10 we're going to have a little Rosita or
little nursery, like
yeah.
well, duh, that's gonna be definite. Wow, honestly, with all the baby births, what is it? RJ, that whisperer baby who was yet to be named.
Oh my gosh, what would happen if Gabriel dies, and then the baby's born, the baby is black, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Sadiq, I'm so sorry. This was Gabriel's baby, not yours." Wah wah. And then Eugene comes in like, "I don't care. I'll be like, Eugene, where'd you come from? I'll be your wife. I'll be your husband. Any baby."
I mean, Rick accepted Shane's daughter as his own.
Yeah, that'd be so funny if like she's like, "I'm sure it's definitely your Sadiq," and then
I'm like 1/10 black from my mama's great mama's side.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be my baby.
Yeah. But yes, that's very fun and weird. Michonne's has a talk with Negan where she's like, "You're never gonna get out of here," and like she says, we're gonna close up the window because like in the comics, I'm gonna just tell us here where the gate is left open for his cell, but he just stays there. He doesn't walk out. He's like, this is trust Rick, because Rick's still alive in the comics. But since Negan left, obviously you can't trust him anymore because he left on his own accord. But closing the window and just being in a cell with no natural light, like I don't know if he can do, like if I could do that, like they don't even let him step outside for 20 minutes a day or anything. I guess they're really hell bent on like making him never leave that cell for the rest of his life, because that's cause, like dying is one thing, but like living the next 40 years of your long life in a cell. That's another thing.
I mean, I'm amazed he hasn't started talking to himself. He hasn't had long, deep, philosophical conversations with himself. I mean, try this. Try locking yourself in a bathroom, nothing to do, nothing on you for, let's say, 2 days, and let's say and then
drink the toilet water immediately.
And then just to see if you're not talking with your friends from the other side.
Yeah, I feel like Negan still has some charm to him, but I feel like he would be still losing his mind. Like at one point in the time jump, he like slammed his head against the wall because he was losing it. But I feel like
well, actually, I just realized it's probably because of Judith, because she would talk to him like she was his only, and people would come by so he wasn't truly by himself.
Alone.
Yeah, so it was the one thing that just kept him from going completely psycho. Well, psychotic.
But yeah, then Michonne spots Judith listening in on everything, and then she talks to Judith, and Judith's like, he might have changed. He's a good guy now. And she's like, you weren't alive when she killed your Uncle Glenn, because he's an absolute monster.
Oh, and Uncle Abraham. Multiple times. He made them look like canned diced tomatoes.
Yeah. But I think somehow this changes her mind, because of course, back to the scene when they talked about what to do with their resources and if they should help the hilltop or whatever. Like Aaron is completely on Michonne's side, most likely because Jesus died. Where he's like, we shouldn't risk this at all because this is our people and whatnot. Because of course he's just a single dad raising Gracie, the little girl who Rick killed her father. Like, remember the Savior?
Yeah.
That was really cute and good continuity. Where like she's probably like 8 or 7 now, because these kids should all be old at this point, because a lot of years have passed. But yeah, Michonne. I guess talking to Judith changed her mind.
Yeah, I want to. I believe so.
Because like she's like, we should give everyone a chance and people can change. I mean I saw it 2 weeks ago once, unlike our most recent episode, but I guess that was a gist, because she talks to Aaron. She's like, yeah, we are going to go join the fair to trade and help the kingdom.
Yeah, I definitely think it was like her daughter who kind of convinced him. Like when he kind of looked at her and realized like she's a kid, like she can't live like
And she
this.
needs hope too. That like we help each other, each other out, including everyone. Like we'll help even Negan because that's who we are.
He had his like little epiphany and everything.
Yeah, so that's a good way to in the episode of Michonne because I've heard to say like I do side with Michonne because it was one thing to join all the communities when there was no people dressed as walkers killing people randomly, but once you find out the Whisperers exist, I would not join or leave the community ever. Because like going out there with no threat, that's one thing. Cause like you can still die, but knowing that there's murderers out there dressed as the corpses you fight and have your guard let down near, I mean, I totally get it from her perspective. Do you think it's valid where she's like, they're like if there are enemies out there, we can't just
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, especially the part because like they are they're camouflaged, especially for people who aren't aware of them.
Yeah.
Like that's even the biggest threat.
The
Like
Kingdom
that.
still doesn't know anything. I don't think Kingdom's seen this episode, but yeah, the Kingdom still doesn't know jack about any of this.
Oh yeah, no, that makes them the greatest target for the Whisperers. But I'm just going back earlier to where they were talking about when Daryl and Connie saved Henry and Lydia. Do you think they're going to go back to their own communities knowing that the walkers know where they are now? Or do you think they're going to try to go for the other two?
Yeah, if Daryl will go back, as in if Daryl, they will go to Alexandria or Hilltop, or what do you mean?
Like, think about this. I'm always gets the mix. It was Alexandria that the walkers went to when they were trying to get Lydia back, right?
The walkers with Alpha.
Sorry, Whisperers.
The Whisperers with Alpha went to Hilltop to get Lydia back.
Okay, yes, Hilltop. So is it possible that they only know of Hilltop? How did they even find the place in the beginning?
Yeah, they had Alden and they had.
That's right.
They tortured him, but I guess they just found him somehow.
Well, yeah, they found them, and I guess they questioned them. Like,
Yeah.
she probably. Well, they didn't have any bruises or signs of torture, so she probably was like, "Look, I don't want to hurt y'all. I just want my daughter. So just."
Yeah, I just wonder if there was some reason how she was able to find him.
They probably did lead him back though, especially Alden because he knows the place better than Luke.
Very possible.
Yeah. So, do they know of the other two communities though?
Lydia stupidly because I remember that Henry told Lydia about the kingdom.
Yeah, Daryl got on him
Lydia
about that.
Tell her mom about the kingdom.
I don't think so.
The kingdom is where the fair is happening, so if like as long as Alpha doesn't know about the kingdom, then all these worlds can be set. Like maybe just Hilltop will be decimated, and well, I guess it's everybody. Better move on,
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I don't think Lydia. I'm starting to come around, but I don't fully trust her. But I don't feel like she's the kind who would just blab. Because I think thinking back to it, like her mannerisms towards Henry was kind of like, "You are a goddamn moron."
She luckily spoke all the words for all the other viewers watching. Like, you are an idiot, man. You don't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt like that punch was well deserved.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's I don't think she's the type who blab.
Yeah, but because at this point she didn't. So as far as Alpha knows, it's just a Hilltop. So I think that kind of wraps up. You have the thoughts over season 9, episode 12.
I mean, sorry, I keep starting for some reason. Again, it was kind of a slow paced kind of episode. I wasn't.
Talky and.
Yeah, just not really so much as far as action goes. Just kind of like. I guess it kind of displayed more of the strain between the three communities. So.
Yeah, along with, of course, fleshing out Alpha and whatever. But I'm just gonna. So I think I might just condense this one episode, and the next episode we'll talk about episode 13 of this, this podcast. But yeah, I'll go into comics right now, so I'll add a little. I will add in a little riff for people who don't get spoiled for comics. But for comics, basically, not Henry, but Carl follows the Whisperers as they leave along with Lydia. And he's like, does the whole thing of like, I need to make sure Lydia's safe. But Alpha's pretty nice to him actually. Like when she finds out that he's following him, she's like, yeah, come see our community. Like she's very like she plans to interrogate him, but yeah, she's not as like stabby tie uppy.
As like completely psychopathic. I mean, yeah. No, wouldn't it be sociopathic more?
I forget. Sociopathic because
they like
Sherlock says he's a high functioning sociopath.
Sociopaths are the kinds who you wouldn't think
don't have empathy. Sociopath.
So It was sort of like what's his name, Joe from You. Is like you would think he's a nice guy when he's like, or like Dexter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but like compared to just full on. Well, I guess a little bit of both, but mainly on the psychopathic side.
But
But
in the comics, yeah, she takes them back to her town, and like I said, they have cows. Not town. They just like their camp. They have cows. They have some horses. People are pretty nice. They don't use any names whatsoever, except for Alpha and Beta. Yeah, no one challenged her like an idiot, like in the comics. That's just dumb. Because if you're in a murder group with a bunch of walkers, like you don't challenge the main head honcho. But yeah, she's pretty much she's a lot more understanding in the comic. She like offers them to come back. She feeds him. And eventually Rick finds Carl. He like meets up with the Whisperers to get Carl back, and basically Carl like is like, I'm not leaving here without Lydia, kind of same thing as Henry. And Rick is like, you're an idiot, but I love you, you're my son, whatever. So basically, Alpha like slaps Lydia because like Lydia's like, mom, I love you. And basically, she like takes Rick real close, and, like whispers into his ear and says like, my daughter's not safe here, take her away. So she actually wants like Rick to take Lydia away from her because she didn't want her daughter to grow up this way. And then she like banishes them all, and then she says, I've marked my territory, which we'll get to in the next episode. But yeah, so she seems a lot like, she seems kind of nice, like not nicer, but she seems a
more easier to communicate
like,
with. Reasonable, civil.
Yeah, like
civil.
Like TV show Alpha would kill Henry, no problem. But like comic Alpha is like, maybe I'll hold off killing Carl so he can see what it's like here. And so I get some more information and because like
she would probably try to get some use out of someone before abandoning them. But she's like, I don't care about anything about myself, my people. Well, and even then, I barely care about my people.
And it's weird because she said she wanted to interrogate Henry some more about the other communities and stuff. He's like, I'll never talk or whatever.
Okay, yeah. So that does not. So that means she doesn't know about the other communities.
Yeah, but then she was willing to let Lydia kill him and like lose all that information. So it seems a little weird. Like TV Alpha seems a little weird, but yeah, comic Alpha's pretty consistent with wanting to get information, but still not just like immediately slitting Carl's throat or whatever. Because the only reason she doesn't kill, she doesn't kill Henry for one because of Lydia, and also because she wants to get information mostly. So
yeah, and I think it's so because she feels like Henry is probably going to be a bad influence on her daughter. Or a good influence, but bad for her.
Yeah, exactly.
So if she feels like, okay, I'm going to make sure, like, we're going to have to start over from scratch. You're going to have to kill this boy so that you don't get any wrong ideas in your head.
Yeah, you got it. You keep going for the accent. You almost have it. Just a little quieter.
Okay, sorry. My name's Alpha, and there's only one thing I want, and it's my daughter.
Yep, you got spot. I could have sworn Manisha McAlpha was in the room. That's not her actress's name.
Oh, brother.
I wild guess. But I think it wraps up for this episode, season 9, episode 11.
Can I add one thing? I just thought about it when I was thinking about, what's her name again? The one who got beheaded, Helen?
Helen, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, like, all the past antagonists. You always notice how there was one, like, in their group who kind of objected their rule and then was killed by their leader.
Idiot. Yeah, so funny. Because, like, it's weird. It'd be funny. It would make sense if, like, in Rick's group, like, Tyrese was like, hey, Rick, are you sure this is the best idea to shoot up this hospital instead of just like debating with them? And then like Rick just shot Tyrese in the face, and they'll all be like, holy shit, Rick, why did you do that? As opposed to Negan's group, where if someone like went up to Negan's like, hey Negan, how about we like have everyone be equals? And then because people won't know what.
No, because Simon tried to. Well, I'm trying to remember Simon, right? That was it.
GTA guy.
Yeah, he tried to. He tried to overthrow Negan, and he, died.
Yeah, but by being like tough and like, because he knew what would happen if he opposed Negan. So just the whole thing of like, you're the toughest evil leader. I better oppose you. That way I'll die immediately in this first episode.
Yep. The governor, there was what's his name? Milton.
Poindexter.
Yeah.
Milton.
Milton. That's what. Yep. What is it? Shane did Otis.
Yeah, all these random idiots who want to do that. Go to the main star of the show and be like, I don't like you very much, and then gets their head chopped off or whatever.
I'm trying to remember what's his name? From the prisoner, the head prison, Tomas. Yeah, I think you tried to kill Big Tiny because he objected him. Big Tiny. I honestly felt that was sorry to keep going all the way back. That was the most disturbing. Like that was just the most unsettling.
I think the decapitation in 0.3 seconds was a lot more, but I think it covers up for today. I'm Drew.
And I'm Caleb.
And this
is Post Apologist.